Okay, I do have water, and here we go spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. In the bottom right-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing on Side Gaming. It is Solar. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss. He just took down Nita, but wasn't an easy feat. Representing Club Envy, it is Creator. Here we go. There's still one thing I do need to do when it comes to promotions. I need to post on Discord, Bob. I need to post on Discord. Can I get there in time? We're getting there. But we do see some pretty standard openers for the time being. Here was a hatch gas pull out of Solar, forcing the unnatural natural. When I saw the openers, I caught my breath a little bit there. I assumed that Solar was going to be going for a 14 hatch or a 15 hatch variation, but alas, no, it just was forcing the unnatural natural instead. So, yeah, going to be a little bit uncomfortable in the early game. A bit more uncomfortable than he would like to be. Just getting everything sorted out here. 90, and then we will look for our tweet. Meanwhile, back at home, gate expand here from Creator. Interesting pylon location from Creator as well. It's going to be behind his behind his main base. I do not expect to be seeing a Stargate. Never. Oh my god. Okay. Fair enough. I stand corrected. This is typically not where you throw down a Stargate, and also you typically don't make a Stalker first. You don't make a Zealot after. Okay, there we go. That makes more sense. But yeah, really interesting choice here from Creator. He's hunting down any Overlords with this initial Stalker. So typically, you go Stalker first if you're going for a Twilight Council opener. So Creator, he's trying to hide his build here and being very ambitious, very adventurous with this Stalker. Going for this Overlord. My god. Again, a very greedy move here, but I don't think he should be getting this Overlord. The Queen arrives, the Lings as well. So far, good control, but Creator is going to be forced back. Really cheeky move. I like it, puppy. I like it. I appreciate it. But alas, he's not going to quite be able to get it. And of course, back at home, he's getting into his Stargate, into his Oracle. This is going to be a bit of a surprise for Solar. He is in the dark as to what is going on, but we should be seeing some safety Spore Crawlers soon TM, just in case it's something like a Twilight Council opener or something like, or something a little bit more aggressive. Instead of Twilight Council opener, something like a Dark Shrine, a DT opener is what I meant to say. Just sorting some stuff out. Speaking of, Fast Roach Warren is thrown down. I say Fast Roach Warren, 4-minute Roach Warren. This makes sense, especially if Solar believes it's a Twilight Council. I also appreciate this. Creator, he's been banking up his Oracles. He's been keeping his Oracles in his main base until he has 2. Now he moves out across the map. The goal here is to catch Solar by surprise. Queens are not where they need to be. This third base is looking very exposed. Queens are here at the natural instead in the main base. Spore Crawlers, and where will the Oracles go as they do reveal themselves here to the Overlords of Solar? And he's getting in position. Good target find by the Oracles. They dive on in anyway. 3 workers go down. We get a 4th. And just barely a 5th as well. Good amount of damage is done across the map. We have a 3rd Oracle hitting the field, and now we are transitioning into something more standard. We have our Twilight Council, our Forge, into +1, and Charge, or potentially Blink. Let's see what we go for. And that will even supply book Solar only for a moment here, as we have an influx of Lings rushing across the map. We have a shield battery, we have a force field, and plenty of Oracles. These Lings aren't going to do too much, but they are at least keeping the Oracles back at home. They keep Creator pinned back. I'm sure he wants to be active, he wants to be harassing, but alas, he does have to relinquish map control instead. And we'll see what kind of composition he does work towards. There it is, Blinkers on the way alongside +1, and a Gateway Explosion. Likewise, Solo also ramming up and getting into things. I also appreciate, even though Solo went for an early Roach Warren, once he realized that it was a Twilight Council, it wasn't a Twilight Council, it was a Stargate opener, he didn't really waste any resources making any Roaches. Has just been droning quite heavily, relying on Lings, and producing even more Queens. So far, so good. Solo just working on his 4th base and focusing on saturating his bases. Meanwhile, I said a Gateway Explosion. We have even more gateways finishing up here for Creator. In total, he's going to have 8. We have +1 soon to kick in as well. Yeah, we have these additional gateways here in the main base. Creator, I don't think he intends to take a 4th or take these gases. We have a War Prism in production here for Creator, so he's going to be going for a very strong +1 timing with 8 gateways. This is the beginnings of a 3-base all-in from Creator. Is taking one more gas though, to be fair, but this is going to hit hard. And Solar, I don't know if he's quite ready for this. We've got Roach Speed on the way. We've got a Infestation Pit on the way as well. There's that Bailey Nest. But Roach Speed has been delayed, and the army is here. And here we go. Massive weapons of Stalkers behind this. Pure Stalkers should be on the horizon here. There we go. 8 Stalkers in total getting warped in. And this is catching Solar almost completely off guard. Good target fire. Good transfuse on that Roach. Oh my god. Barely keeping it alive. You can see Lings getting ready for a surround. Is it going to be enough though? Oracles coming to support, so the Lings just aren't enough of them. Never mind, the Oracles are distracted. Lings go for a counterattack instead. Yeah, and you can see that Solar is bleeding out quite a lot. He does have 8 more Roaches on the way. If he can hold on long enough, he will have some reinforcements. As the files do not connect. Roaches are going down. Expensive losses here for Solar. And this is becoming a bit too much. The Ling counterattack across the map, it's not quite getting too much. It's distracting Creator a little bit. Giving Solar some time. Likewise, these Biles are also forcing back the Stalker army. But the Queens are falling. And Creator is being forced back. Okay, Solar has held. I do think he could have maybe tried to keep on pushing, but he's really respecting this Link counterattack. He's transitioning. We have a Robo on the way and a Robotic Spay, as well as a 4th base. Again, this was a 3-base all-in. Creator, it feels like he feels like he's done enough damage to just back off and start transitioning into a higher form of tech. Solar, he has weathered the storm. That hatchery barely survived. He lost a lot of Queens, lost a lot of Roaches. But now Solar, he is free to actually make use of his Infestation Pit, heading towards the Hive, heading towards Adrenal. And things are going to settle down from here. But I want to give Solar the advantage right now, because this Colossus production is pretty heavily delayed for Creator. Again, I don't think he intended to have the game go on this long. And now we have +2 on the way for Solar. We have that Hive, Adrenal, potentially Vipers as well. Now, there is going to be a window of opportunity as Creator does warp in into the main. Unfortunately, no charge, so slow loss. Does get eyes on the Hive. So I wonder if this is going to trigger Creator to just attack here and now with 2 Colossi. There's a window before there are any Vipers. And before there are Vipers, these Colossi are going to be able to reign supreme. Can try to consolidate the army, bring everything together, and try to attack before Vipers hit the field. If we wait any longer, then again, Vipers are just a great answer, a great response to anything out of the Robo, whether it's Colossus or Disruptors. So we'll see. As we do have the 3rd and 4th Colossus in production, do have Extenthermal Lance on the way as well. Here come those Vipers that we were talking about. They are in production. But even after they pop out, they do need time to gather energy. And here we go, before the Vipers have arrived, Creator is pushing forward. Come all those Colossi, sentries for force fields. Creator is max. Both players are, to be fair. Oh, meanwhile, we get a massive link counterattack. The wall is not a wall. Lings are going to get a lot of damage done across the map. They take down the Immortal. The Oracles do return back home. And Creator has gotten the base. But he needs more than that. He's looking for more than that. Meanwhile, the Viper is gathering energy here at the natural. Solo once again going for another massive link counterattack. And Creator is backing off. Again, very passive play here from Creator. Very tentative control here. If he gets a base, he's going to rotate around. I don't know how I feel about the lack of urgency here for Creator. I mean, I guess he still has a pretty terrifying army. And there is only one Viper, but like Creator doesn't know that. He doesn't know that there's only one Viper, so we have very limited amounts of abductions available for Solar. There it is. 2 more Vipers on the way. 3 in total. That will be enough for Solar to deal with this. Now, in saying that, we still don't have the most ideal army. Solar, he hasn't teched into Hydras or Lurkers for Hydra, Lurker, Viper. Still Ling main Roach Ravager as his main army composition, which isn't bad, but it does get outscaled. Like, over time, Creator will just have a superior army. And he's doing so. We have Storm on the way. We have +3 on the way. Like, things are not going to get easier for Solar. Oh, but he busts in! Up! Up! He's gonna get some probes, not too much saturation here at the natural, unfortunately. Let's get some workers, 8 in total. Creator working on his 5th, likewise so is Solar. +3 on the way. I believe Adrenal is done. Yes, Adrenal is already done at this point. Here we go. Creator is going to be pushing on forward only with Blink Stalkers, so just trying to test the waters. Gets eyes on those Vipers. Is aware that he has to babysit the Colossus. Lings deny the 5th. Was a cancel. The Vipers! No shot. The Vipers, they fly a little bit of miscontrol there out of Solar. He just threw away all of his Vipers. There are no spellcasters left. We have 1 Viper in production. The Colossus has nothing to stop them. I don't know if the Vipers were hotkeyed with the Lings by accident, but the Vipers, they did, again, move out onto the map, and as a result, Creator, he can just force his way in. Big storms on the Ling Bane. Solo's army is getting annihilated. Colossus pull back, getting ready for a surround. There is not enough for a surround. And so steady, Creator, he can just push his way through. GG gets called, and Creator takes game number 1. GG. One mistake is sometimes all it takes, and Solar, his lifeline, his ace in the hole were those Vipers. And again, they just flew a little bit too far forward. It did look like an accident, did not look intentional from Solar. For the Vipers to actually be in that area, and just like that, all 3 of them got sniped. GG. GG, well played. Creator is now 1 game away from advancing on to the semifinals. Here we go. Catching up in the chat. Hello, Werehog, hello. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Bienvenidos. Danielazo, even. As well as Jankin. Rock, paper, scissors. Welcome. Here we go. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Babylon, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming down in this series, looking to bring himself back in. It is Solar. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing Club NV. It is Creator. One game away from advancing on. Making it into the semifinals. As a reminder, Bjorn is waiting for the winner of this series. Likewise, I believe the upper semis are still underway. Again, it was Cure versus... Sorry, it was Hero versus the winner of Cure and Geralt. I don't believe we have an update on that yet. Yeah, they are still mid-series. They are still ongoing. As we are nearing the tail end of the tournament. And so far, Solo going for a hatch gas pool. Able to get his hatchery on location this time. You love to see it. You know, just looking at the bracket, I wasn't able to see if this was a 14 hatch or just a hatch gas pool, like a more standard timing from Solar. And again, it did feel like Creator was in the driver's seat for the most part that game. I was concerned when he pulled away from the 8 gates +1 Blink Stalker all-in. If you remember, he was trading against the army, he didn't get the base, and he just backed off. I do think he could have just kept applying pressure, and he would have been able to overcome Solar, but he backs off instead. He transitions, and clearly it was the right call. You know, he was able to get his 4th, get into his Colossi, and it did take Solar quite some time to come up with an answer to that. And even when he did, we saw what happened, right? We saw a bit of a misstep, and everything just, the house of cards collapse in the face of Solar. And now we're getting into our next game. Once again, a Stargate opener out of Creator. This time it's far forward, and this time we don't have a Stalker first. So Creator isn't going for any mind games. He isn't trying to fake out a Twilight Council opener, which is what he did in game 1, winding it all back. In game 1, he went Stalker first, he hunted out Overlords, and he just banked up his Oracles in his main base until he had 2 before he really revealed his hand. This time, we're not playing any of that. We're just, you know, going for a much more straight-up Stargate opener, sending the Oracle across the map. So everything is looking as it should. Meanwhile, 2 Adepts, they move out, just getting a read on things, making sure he's not being 2-base all-in. Solar isn't one to go for a 2-base all-in, but, you know, it's important to scout nonetheless. Ooh, as he commits to the Shade into the Lings. Ooh. And Creator is going to be losing everything here. 1 Adept goes down, the 2nd Adept as well. So, a bit of a misstep from Creator this time. Committing to the Shade. With the death of those 2 Adepts, we can see Solar immediately goes for a counterattack. He's looking to delay and deny the 3rd. Oracle does rock up. Queens are in position. There is no Spore. And the Oracle is going to get a couple of kills. Oh. He's going to give it up. The Oracle gets 6 workers, but it does go down. What did Solar say? Did he say Kamsamnida? No shot. No shot, Batty. Okay. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I don't know if that was intentional from Creator. I was a little bit concerned as to what just happened, but does get 6 workers, I guess. Behind this, he's getting his turret base up and running. Did go for a Void Ray after the first Oracle, just to make sure he had some consistent damage. Able to maintain himself. And a shout out to Dave Testa in the chat. Thank you so much, Dave, for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Gracias, papi, gracias. I look forward to the KSL SummerSlam in a couple of days. We'll be casting that. I say we. Here are the CranKy Ducklings, as well as Dave Testa, Chicken Man, and any other caster that does choose to be a part of that. So look forward to it. I'm going to be looking forward to the SummerSlam. Oh, the StarCraft doesn't end. We've been casting Masters Coliseum for over a week, and then that goes into the WTL qualifiers, and then that goes into KSL. So much StarCraft. Let's go. But yeah, shout out to Dave Tessa, another community caster, another community member of StarCraft. Lovely guy. Oh. Behind this, Solar just working on his 4th base. We have +1 and Blink on the way from Creator. We'll be keeping our eye on his gateway counts. If you recall, in Game 1, he did go for an 8 gate, a 3-base all-in. As he does shark around looking for a couple more drones. Does get 2 here in the natural. Oh, and still no Spore in the main. Solar cutting corners. Not like this. Not like this. 2 workers go down. Could have been worse. Could have been worse. But a lot of lost mine time as well. As Creator does manage to skirt his way out of there. Going to be regrouping with the rest of his forces. Again, I believe he only has 5 gateways. Oh, but there is no shield battery at the 3rd base. Creator getting punished for his greed. Doesn't lose any workers, but will lose his shield battery. And his Stalker. Again, his stack defense was just a little bit too late. But Creator's thinking further ahead. We already have a 4th base on the way. And we should be taking up even further into our Templar Archives or into Robotics Bay. Into some higher tech. Here we go. Lings once again dipping on in. Once again, we're not quite ready for this, but the Oracles, thankfully, are in the vicinity. We're able to push them back, and Creator can focus on his assault. He's been kept at home the entire time. Finally, he can be a little bit aggressive. Gonna be cleaning up some of these tumors. And as he moves out, Solar once again looking to punish that move out. This time, we do have a reaction, or we do have a warp in back at home. Creator also had a cannon prepared for it. And he will hold on to his 4th. As he's staying on a gateway-heavy army. We have 2-1 on the way. No Bay, no Templar Archives. Just Stalkers and Zealots. I say that, only Stalkers, really. There's no charge. Bold move by Creator, but there it is. I was like, are we really just going to stay on pure Stalker? No way! It's going to be 2nd Robo and a Robotics Bay for double Colossus production. This does feel a little bit delayed, I'll be honest. As ideally you want to start, like, taking into this once your 4th base kicks in. But a lot of that may just be because of the delays and the lost mining time at the 3rd. As Creator is just looking to take control of the center of the map. Oh, Void Ray just barely does escape. And yeah, he's just being very defensive here. More cannons, more shield batteries on the way. We're just trying to buy time for the Colossus. Before that happens, Solar is about to max. So 75 workers, Lingbane, Roach, Ravager. He is looking to snowball out of control and try to crush Creator before he gets his Colossi. This will not be a repeat of a Game 1. This entire time, Solar has also been left alone. Finally, we do have a counterattack, but it may just be too late. Bailing speed is kicking in. The 4th base is going to have to be forfeit. And there are just so many Bailings. Oh, God. Oh, God. As they run past the Stalkers, they're heading straight for the mineral line as well. And they're going to... Oh, my God. They're not going to make their way in despite that 15 probes go down. 4th base will fall. Colossus were just a little bit too late. At the same time, we do have Zealots across the map, in the main, in the natural, but Solar comes back home in time, cleans them up, and 28 probes went down. Ay, ay, ay. Creator at this point, I would say, is pretty all in, but with only 2 Colossi, it's going to be difficult to really pull this off. He's going to posture, he's expanding behind this, he's going to try and recover, try to recoup his losses. But he has a lot of catching up to do. Again, if only the Colossi were a couple of seconds earlier, or if he had been able to just delay that push, for a couple of seconds, and we may have seen a different game. He may have been able to hold on to his fourth. Alas, it's no longer the case. Infestation Pit's on the way. So Solar, he was a little bit one-track minded, as in he intentionally was hoping to kill Creator with that push. So he wasn't quite set up to tech further into Hive, so his Hive is going to be a little bit delayed, which will favor Creator. This will delay Viper production. So Creator, he's going to be able to build up his forces. He's going to be able to resaturate this fourth. But Solar's being so active on the map. There's just so much Ling Bane, and I don't know if Creator can ever max out at this point, just because of how aggressive and how active Solar's being. So far, good positioning. We do have a Colossus in the natural, Colossus in the third, and a Colossus here at the fourth. Here we go. Solar's looking to collapse on this army. Decent force fields with the Banelings up. Once again, the force fields are thrown down. The probes came back a little bit too soon, and the Banelings, they do connect. They do clash with the army. Oof. Hard pickup on one of those Colossi. Very nice control here from Creator. But he still loses 13 workers, and he still loses a big chunk of his army. You can see here the units killed. That was 21. 21 Stalkers going down. And that is an army that Creator cannot afford to rebuild. To warp in. He's just far down in supply, and once those Vipers arrive, Solar, he can just snowball out. Well, he's already snowballing out of control. There we go. Vipers are on the way. They are in production. The Colossus have been the only thing keeping Creator alive. And again, this time Solar is going to be able to just pick that army apart. Please go for a massive counterattack. There is no shield battery behind this. The Immortal, oh god, it may go down. It is going to go down. At the same time, the Baileys roll on in. No reaction. The mineral line goes down. Delayed reaction. Even a couple of Colossi. Who needs Vipers? As we can just collapse on them. And Solar, after game one, he's upset. He is upset. He is angry. And is looking to tie up the series. Is looking to force the ace match. Is there a way for Creator to come back in this game? If we invest into... The problem is that even if we invest into Disruptors, like, Disruptors are very high risk, high reward. But because there are Vipers out, Disruptors aren't enough either. There's a world where maybe Creator is able to go for a counterattack, and Solar, he overreacts and he brings everything back home. Just to buy time, but even then, here we go. The Banelings roll on forward. The Viper does arrive. We yoink the Colossus, and the Colossus does finally go down. GG gets called, and Solar ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. GG. Here we go. See the chat. Pug squirrel. Very pug, very pug. Yo, shout out to Dave. I don't think I've been able to talk to you about it, but really cool to hear that Dave has been investing in the scene a little bit further, and he even has added a couple of pro players to his roster, to his team, to Kirktown. I believe Ranger and Foxer, which is really cool to see. Unfortunately, I think it's too late to sign up for WTL, for the WTL qualifiers. But regardless, really cool to hear that you're supporting some players. You're supporting your boys. I did hear that, of course, Team Infected, they were kind of struggling to maintain Ranger, you know, with other things kind of popping up. But really cool that Ranger was able to find a home. Take care of him, Papi. Take care of him. Oh. Wish you the best, Papi. Wish you the best. And again, with that win, we are going all the way to game number 3. Do we have any other updates in the chat? Sorry, do we have any other updates in the bracket? Let me just quickly double check. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. We do switch our scenes over. And it looks like we do not have any updates yet. Cure versus Geralt is still ongoing. Hopefully they're being casted by someone. I'm not too sure. Not too sure if there are some. I think maybe Steadfast is covering Cure versus Geralt. Winner of that, of course, moves on to face Hero in the semifinals. Likewise, we still have Bjorn waiting for our series to conclude as well. So our goal is to head from our quarterfinals match into Bjorn, into the finals. Depending on how fast our series is, we may be able to catch the upper semifinals as well with Hero and Geralt and Cure. It is possible, but unlikely. I guess it depends on how fast our series is and how slow their series are. There we go. We're getting into the ace match and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ancient Sister, and we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. Tying up the series 1-1 in that last game, it is Solar. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player representing Club NV. It is Creator. Here we go. And here we go, the ace match, the final game, the final game of our series. So far, nothing too crazy. Hatch gas pool. I was just checking on the bracket, making sure I wasn't missing anything, making sure that nothing was going unnoticed. Oh, as we have some banter, some chat. If anyone knows any Korean, let us know what's being said. Let us know, Papi, let us know. Let us know. As of now, we also have a gate expand from Creator. No one is cheesing. No one is going for any kind of proxy or fast gas or fast pull timing. Everything's looking on the up and up. And yeah, from here, we are going to be getting into a much more standard game, which does kind of lead into the map itself. We are loading into Ancient Sister, of course, a much more macro-oriented map, plenty of bases to be taken. Not the most defensive map compared to like Near Humanity or Altitude, for example. So yeah, I'm a little bit concerned for Creator. We have seen him kind of take a more defensive role in this game for the most part, outside of game 1, I guess. But game 2 is kind of what we expect to be seeing from Creator, you know, slowly taking a 3rd base, taking a 4th base, taking it slow and going for much more Robo and Immortal Colossus Archon-based composition. We'll see if he can pull that off here, though. Again, because this map is so big and so wide open, it can sometimes be difficult to be active on the map here against Zerg, against a player like Solar. So, we'll see. We shall see. As the first Oracle is going to be going across the map, looking for some damage. But again, we do have queens in position. Solar, he's got 2 queens in the main, 2 queens at the natural. For the most part, he has deduced that it is going to be a Stargate opener as well upon seeing the Adepts back at home. And this Oracle won't be able to do too much. Oh, I shouldn't. As it does get a couple of drones. 2 drones go down. Oh, but takes a lot of hold. Oh my god, takes a lot of hold damage. 1 shot away from going down. Bit of an overextension from Creator. A little bit over eager, but at least keeps the Oracle alive. We'll probably come back home to try to defend and protect this third base, as Solar is going for his own lane counterattack. But again, would you have that second Oracle staying back at home? Would you have an Adept, some good SimCity? And these things, they can maybe force an activation of the Pulsar Beam, but outside of that, they're just keeping Creator honest, keeping him at bay, keeping him at home. As he's looking for more economic damage. You do have the first two Adepts getting across time. Do commit to the shade. We do head into that natural. Oh my god, and we're getting quite a lot done here. The Lings were out of position. They were across the map. 2 workers and a lot of lost mining time. They commit to the shade once again. They get another drone. 4 in total. Not too bad. Like, honestly, pretty good damage here from Creator. Not just getting the worker kills, but also pulling the army back home and lost mining time. Pretty good stuff. As Creator is going for a double forge in the main. Does tell us that he wants to go for a pretty gateway heavy composition. From here he can also go into Colossi. I know +2 can be a pretty big upgrade for rover base units as well. And unlike the previous game, Creator just continuing to be aggressive and be in the face of Solar. That was maybe one of the biggest issues about game number 2 on Babylon, is that Creator was maybe a little bit too passive. He did end up losing his first Oracle, which didn't help, to be honest. It didn't help when it came to Solar just maintaining control of his side of the map and being able to drone so freely. But this game, he is rectifying that. Being very active. Moving out here on the low ground as well. Does have to be careful. There is no blink, but he does have his Oracles behind this. To support his Stalkers, make sure he doesn't get surrounded by those Lings. So he does threaten that 4th. He gets Tumors. I don't expect him to deny the 4th, but the Lings actually avoid the army entirely. They go for a big counterattack instead. We do have reinforcements at the natural. We do have plenty of units here at the 3rd as well. Creator is in position. And now he can be active. 1-1 is about to kick in. We have a Warp Prism on the way. Creator is taking a 4th though. So he's not going to be too committed with this next attack. He's still, thinking further ahead. There it is. There is the second rover and the Colossus as well. So once again, and the Robotics Bay. Once again, he's going to be working towards double Colossus production, which is what we've been seeing a lot from him so far this series. Every game, actually. Game 1, Game 2, and now Game 3. Or even supply blocking Solar for a moment. But likewise, similar to the previous game, we already have the Hive in production. We have a Hydra Den. Vipers are on the horizon here for Solar. Up. He does get caught by his Stasis. Does get eyes on the 4th. This should give Solar like a lot of breathing room. Like upon seeing the 4th base, he should breathe a sigh of relief and be like, okay, like we're good. Creator, he's clearly just taking up even further, and like I'm gonna be free to tech up as well. And there we go. Lurker Den is thrown down. Hydra Lurker Viper is gonna be the transition here for Solar. We'll see if he can get there. Again, the most important part of that is gonna be Vipers to help deal with these disruptors. Interesting. Okay. So Creator, he's actually gonna be delaying Colossus and going straight for disruptors first. Yeah, an interesting choice here. I mean, okay, there we go. Looking at his detection, he has already seen the tech. He knows that the Hive is on the way. He is aware of the Lurkers as well. And Disruptors do have a better time against Lurkers. They're not amazing, but it's better. I would almost want to see, especially like upon seeing the Hydra Den and the Hive, I would almost prefer a Fleet Beacon, I'll be honest. Like, start transitioning into Skytos here and now for Creator. As I'm sure you're aware and of course heard of, Like, lurkers, they're so good against ground-based compositions. Against ground toss specifically, they do typically force a reaction into sky toss. And for Creator to delay that transition is a really bold move from Creator. To basically see this and... Okay, there we go. There's that fleet beacon. I still believe we could have thrown that down a little bit earlier, but it looks like Creator, he wanted to be more secure by working towards Storm first, which makes sense. To have Storm, to have Immortals, to actually survive until you get into Sky Toss. It is a long road to take, so, you know, he doesn't want to get caught out before that happens. And that means we're in for a long one. We're in for a much longer game. We got the -400 on the way. -400, -400. Cherish it. Enjoy it while you can, as this is something that we're not going to have for too much longer. They're taking that away from us, Papi. They're taking it away. Smooge, Papi, smooge. You don't appreciate what you have until it's gone. Cap. As there, of course, if you haven't heard, there is a patch on the way that is going to affect the mothership in some way, shape, or form. Before that occurs, it looks like Solar's just trying to refine his army, going for a big attack here with his Lings and his Roaches. Again, losing these Roaches is fine. He just wants to trade as efficiently as possible, clean up the supply, and work towards a better army. Towards more Hydras, more Lurkers, more Vipers, and even Lings. Speaking of, the Lurkers are going to be able to hold on to the front lines here, forcing back the ground army of Creator. But again, we're not really too concerned about this. We already have carriers in production. We only have one Stargate, unfortunately. There we go. We now have the second and third Stargate on the way. Again, this is going to delay carriers by quite a lot. I'm concerned that it may be too long. I mean, Solar's already remaxed. He has a pretty terrifying army. A lot of Lurkers. Uh-oh. The Templar! Oh, one of them does go down. Solar out positioning Creator a little bit, but a big Nova is going to connect. Very well done by Creator, but at the same time, the Lings, they do bust into the natural base. The carriers have been revealed, and there's only one of them. The mothership as well, to be fair, is going to help support. It's going to help keep everything alive. Zealot Ramite does come into the main base, but we have Lings to support to deal with this. These Zealots, they shouldn't get too much done. Meanwhile, the Lings, they bust into the main. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, 12 workers in total, denying the sick. And Solar has done pretty well for himself here. He did lose a lot of Lurkers earlier, but we can see that he's replacing those Lurkers with Corruptors. Hopefully he doesn't overinvest. Again, there's only one carrier, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, only one carrier at the moment, but there's soon to be 4. That's okay. These Corruptors are hunting down that Prism. Prism is being forced back. Creator going to be rotating over towards the right-hand side. I don't expect him to push out yet. He still has a very low carrier count, and without them, his army is a little bit lackluster. Catching more of these Lings. Solid stasis traps as well. Even going to be blocking the army out of here. Won't be able to push through this choke point. Yo, some well-timed Novas could actually pop off. So run by denying a base. It looks like we're not going to try and land those Novas. The Lurkers, they will escape. We'll get out of there. Even some good Novas as well on those Lurkers. Pushing through this choke point is going to be so difficult, but here come those Corruptors. And there's not much to support the Sky Toss. The Mothership goes down. The carriers aren't quite here, but we're going to be able to get the Oracles at least. And yeah, there's just not enough on the ground for Creator. He's losing too much. There's not much else for the Corruptors to do, to be fair. This is what I was kind of worried about, as the carriers are towards the north. But it looks like there are enough lurkers to shut down this base. Meanwhile, Creator sending everything across the map. Doing what he can with what he has. He's got Immortals, sure. The lurkers aren't quite in position. The final carrier will fall. And the Immortals are gaining ground. But there's no detection, and Creator is being forced back. As I say that, Solar is in a bit of trouble. We can see that he's remaxing on more Hydras. Do we have any? No, we don't. I was like, do we have any other carriers? No, there's not much for these Corruptors to do. They can maybe try to snipe a base or snipe production. Yeah, they need to do something. There we go. As they do dive into the main. Going for the Stargates, making sure that they won't be needed. And this pure Hydra army is doing quite well for itself. We don't have any Storms, no Colossi. There are 3 High Templar, but they're further back. As long as we have enough lurkers, Solar should be okay. Because that's a lot of Immortals. I mean, that's 12 Immortals. My god. So Creator, he can actually make something happen here. He's going to be losing his Stalkers, which is a pretty big loss. But his Immortals are breaking through. Yeah, 2 lurkers go down. And there aren't that many lurkers. The Hydras, they're falling to the Storms. Mate, Creator. Forcing a bit of an overcommitment into the Corruptors is snowballing out of control. He busts through the Hydras, not enough lurkers. GG gets called, and Creator does it. 12 Immortals. That's all you need, Buffy. That's all you need. GG, Creator. He eliminates Solar from the tournament. He advances on to the semi-finals. GG. Again, we saw the Greater Spire was still on the way, so the Corruptors couldn't be morphed into Broodlords. And again, it may have been better for Solar to just kill his own Corruptors. It sounds a little bit extreme, but Solar actually was maxed, and he couldn't make any more Lurkers because of those Corruptors. They were just dead supply. They were stopping him from refining his army and actually having something better to deal with those Immortals. Without Lurkers, without Vipers, yeah, Solar, he couldn't do anything. He couldn't stand up to the immortal army of Creator. So GG, very well played. Congratulations to Creator. My condolences to Solar. It isn't something that happens too often, but every now and then you get a game where the Zerg player does overreact to the Sky Toss, and we kind of saw that here, where we did make maybe a couple too many Corruptors, and unfortunately we weren't able to really get any more value out of them. And they were hurting Solar more than they were helping him. So, GG. GG, well played. We have our first semifinals.